So next episode, we'll talk about coolant, maintenance, and what we consider when doing those flushing, radiator flushing, maintenance, and also the type of the coolant that we have to use for a given car. Yeah.
Hello people, we are here with, I'm here at Dock Auto with the Daktari himself, Isaac Kuria. Today is 4th of September, it's on a Saturday. As you can see, it's a very busy place, but we managed to get some few minutes and ask him a couple of questions for the sake of Hondurians. So, thank you very much, Isaac, for giving us the floor. We just had a couple of questions for you. Something to do with, let me start with spark plugs. As you can see, these are laser iridium spark plugs. There are a lot of questions that people ask on the group regarding spark plugs. So, Isaac, kindly tell us the difference between normal spark plugs, I believe they are copper spark plugs or something, and laser iridium spark plugs. Because that is one question a lot of people ask, people don't understand, especially when it comes to cost. So, what is what when it comes to these things?
Now, if we tend to speak about the spark plugs tend to differ with the different cars. But I mean, when I talk about cars, I mean the cylinder head, the shape of the combustion chamber. Now that's why you go and get, there is a long range and there is a short range. There is a iridium, there is a single iridium, there is a double tip, and there is also a normal one. So, plugs tend to differ with a different car and different model. For instance, the one that I'm holding here is for CRV RM1. This is the number SLZKR7C11S, and this is a stock number. The difference between these two, these are R20 engine. When now, I don't know how I will explain this.
These spark plugs are specific for specific
CLV,
cars.
yes.
So like these ones you're holding, I believe, for an RM1, a car like this one, 2 liter. So that is something that people should be aware of. Not every spark plug goes into every other car. You have to know your specific type of spark plugs. They have a specific size and everything, but like these ones are from NGK, so the brand may vary, but the specifications are standard, right?
Yeah. Now, there is a different grades. We start from OEM. You have a grade 1, you have a grade 2, and grade 3. What matters is the number of the nickel and copper inside the plugs. OEM is a pure nickel. Pure nickel means that the plug doesn't have a resistance. So if it doesn't have a resistance, it tends to last long. It will cover not less than 80 to 100,000 kilometers. If you go to a grade 1, you'll come to notice it has a bit of copper and some nickel. That means it will tend to reduce in terms of kilometers to be covered, 60 to 80, right? Now, if you go to a grade 3, and remember the part number are the same. If you go to a grade 3 will have more copper, less nickel. That will increase the resistance. It will cover 10,000 and even 5,000 kilometers, and also destroy your ignition coils. Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to spark plugs, what determines performance in terms of better fuel burning ability, which translates into speed, torque, bhp, and all that? And what determines longevity of what material in a spark plug determines longevity in a spark plug?
I said earlier, it's all about nickel. Nickel doesn't have an resistance.
Okay.
So it will tend to spark strongly, and thus increase the torque of the engine. Because of the fuel efficiency, because of that sparking, it will increase the fuel efficiency. That's good. That's now once you get a fuel efficiency, the car will have a best performance, and also it will tend to make the car sound good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope that that is clear. Now on to the next question. Something else that a lot of people ask about is coolants. When most of these cars are coming from wherever they come from, what do you call it, in Asia, specifically Japan anyway, most times, they come with their own coolant, and those coolants have a specific color. But when it comes here, there's been a debate that the color may vary because I understand they are meant for different climates, right? We don't have the same climate here that those guys have there. So most of the coolants that are in our machines are either blue or turquoise or something like that. But we also see other colors like pink, red, and some other funny colors that are around. What would you advise people to use in Kenya?
Also, about the coolant, it is determined with where the vehicle was imported from. You know, the car that comes from Europe, it has a problem. The car that comes from Europe is a bit colder. There are those seasons like autumn, springs, and winter. No, so the coolant will be pink. That means it has a low boiling point.
Low boiling point. Okay.
That will be able to cope with that climate. But the car that comes from Japan and those other countries, the other continent that doesn't have those specific, extra additives. So what will happen? Like a blue one comes. Most of the cars that uses blue coolant, blue or greenish, usually come from Japan, where is a normal tropical like ours. They don't have a snow, autumn, and so on. So when the car has come with a red one, obviously it will be from Europe, all those countries with the snow. With the blue color or green, that car is from Japan. Now, the difference between those two is the additives. Additives in terms of boiling point and also expansion rate, and also the additives in terms of anti-last. You know, the cars that come from Europe tend to last more because of that snow. But Japan, that car will serve better with a normal coolant. Yeah.
Okay. There's also been these coolants that I understand people mix with water. In what situations or what times would you advise? First of all, would you advise somebody to use it? Two, if they are to use it, what are the merits and the demerits? What are the advantages and disadvantages of using it? Because I think it's general knowledge that water and machines basically don't mix. So there's a risk. I understand. I think there's a common sense of a risk that if you start using water, something is bound to go wrong. What would you advise people on that thing?
If you did a bit of physics, a bit of chemistry, you will understand that water has an excess oxygen. Now, when oxygen reacts with the metal, definitely it is not to last. Yeah. So when you hear somebody telling you to use water, then he'll come again and tell you about you remove the thermostat. So, yet whoever who was manufacturing the car, he considered everything. He knew that the thermostat will work better in your car. Yes, so you don't supposed to remove. So when you use water, it will tend to last. Yeah, because coolant is still water, yes, but it has those additives like anti-last, anti-foam. Yeah, so you are not supposed to use water just because water will lead to a rust. But if you use a coolant will tend to protect the metal or the parts, the cooling parts from the rust.
Now, when it comes to draining of the coolant. After how many kilometers would you advise somebody to drain the coolant? Because I've had my car now for 3 years and I replaced the coolant immediately I got it, and I've never done it, but I'm thinking about doing it. However, when I check the levels on my reserve tank, it looks okay and everything, but I hear a lot of people saying that you know, after a certain period of time you should change it. After how many kilometers should somebody change the coolant?
Now, one thing that you'll understand, everything in a car, all liquids have a lifespan. A lifespan in terms of either number of the months or the years or the kilometers.
Yes.
So it determines with how you drive your car. But for me, what I really advise people, either 1 year or 100,000 kilometers.
Okay.
So 1 year or 100,000 kilometers, you have to breed and flush the coolant. Because what happens when you prolong using it, it will turn out to be a coolant. It won't meet the purpose of being a coolant. Now it will start being a corrosive. Because of because of those, the additives will tend to decrease. It will tend to lower the performance. Now it won't be a coolant. Now that's why, if you understand, sometimes coolant you may use it until now start turning the color.
Yeah.
The reason it's turning the color is now because it's saturated now. Saturated in terms of now is the maximum.
It's no longer performing.
Yes. So you have to flush either any engine. You have to flush it within either 1 year or every after 100,000 kilometers, whichever comes first.
All right. That makes sense. All right. I believe that's it for now. Thank you very much. Thank you, people. You can click on the subscribe button. You can also send us your questions and anything that has been bugging you. Send it to us. We'll get to ask the Daktari himself so that we can get knowledge about these things and demystify our engines. Thank you very much.